Good evening and welcome to the Temecula Community Services Commission regular meeting of February 8th, 2021. I'm Chair Levine and this session is now open. Let's start with a flag salute. Vice Chair Ruiz, are you ready to go?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity to kick this meeting off with our flag salute today. So if you guys would please put your right hand over your heart and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. How about roll call? Bea, will you be doing the roll call this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, happy to. Commissioner Kristofsky?
Here.
Commissioner Levine?
Here.
Commissioner Adi?
Here.
Commissioner Ruiz?
Here.
And Commissioner Sizemore?
Here.
Thank you. All present.
Very good. And do we have any public comments this evening?
There are no public comments this evening. Thank you.
Then we will not read the rules associated with them, and we'll move right into division reports. Who is our lucky first presenter this evening?
Hi, everyone.
Looks like Andrew.
That's me. Good evening. I hope all you guys had a great Super Bowl Sunday. My name is Andrew Formentera, and I'll be presenting the first part here of the Community Services Commission report. So let's go ahead and get into it. First up, we have aquatics. Now, the aquatics division was very busy this month with employee trainings and potential hirings. They are currently hiring for 4 positions: lifeguard, water safety instructor, senior guard, and rec leader at the splash pad. 2 virtual hiring workshops were held with around 48 potential employees and parents in attendance. One of the participants' quote from the event was, "The whole thing was extremely helpful. I had a lot of questions regarding the hiring process and what the schedules would be like. And so it was very informative to attend and hear about the logistics of the job." Next slide, please. Now we have contract classes. The beginning of the year saw a successful classes campaign with a total of 104 participants. These classes in the month of January encourage physical fitness and growth in the performing arts. We have upcoming classes for the month of February to increase options for more activities. This includes the new Busy Bags, which are mailed activity packages for toddlers and pre-K age students. All activities adhere to health and safety mandates and guidelines. Now we have the Community Recreation Center. The Theme Box Meetup was a success for the second time at the Teen Zone, with 10 participants logging on live on Zoom and a total of 27 boxes being purchased. Participants created crafts, competed in challenges and trivia during the Zoom meeting. The Valentine's Theme Box Meetup will occur on February the 13th. All right, now we have homeless outreach. Continued CDBG funding has been approved for clients to receive rental assistance. As of this past month, 2 clients have been approved for rental assistance pending CDBG CV funding allocation. The SWAG agreement has been approved for full-time case management and outreach services. Current stats for the first 3 weeks include 25 new clients, 1 street exit, and 2 being successfully placed in permanent housing. The joint weekly encampment visits and inspections have been continuing for the month of January by SWAG, city staff, and the HOT team. And the citywide homeless census is planned for this coming week. Now, the winter shelter has been averaging around 13 people per night with a high of 18 when it gets cold or rainy. The shelter will be open until April 1st at the Roadway Inn. Project Touch has incorporated recommendations from the city to help streamline the check-in process. These recommendations include staggered check-in times, same room for returners, and staff moving individuals inside to limit the number of people waiting out on the street. Now we have inclusive and senior services. Multiple programs, including High Hopes and Skip, are continually being offered via Zoom. The past month, participants enjoyed following along with staff for cooking and baking tutorials. The Riverside University Health Systems has provided training to YAC participants about mental health and suicide awareness and prevention. Students have been working on a mental health campaign to provide resources and information to their peers in the community. Next slide, please. City staff have been delivering one week's worth of lunches to around 125 seniors every Friday. Up to date, we have about 34,000 meals have been distributed to seniors in need during this pandemic. Twice a week, the Mary Phillips Senior Center operates the SOS Shuttle service, which provides curb-to-curb transportation for seniors so they may be able to do their essential shopping. The Mary Phillips Senior Center is currently operating as a warm center for vulnerable individuals. The warm center has been in effect since December 1st, 2020, and will continue through March 31st, 2021. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Seniors in the community are continually being kept up to date by staff regarding the COVID-19 vaccine through outreach calls and weekly information sheets. Next slide, please. Now we have the library. The library currently offers express services for holds and checkouts. This month saw 9,109 items checked out. Virtual programs are going steady with 4 story times and 15 book lists. Today, Monday, February 8th, 2021, saw the reopening of the library with limited services. And now we have parks and facilities. All right. The Margarita Mike Nagar Park hockey rink resurfacing, as well as the Eagle Soar playground surface cleaning and sealing have been completed. Sam Hicks Park playground is complete and was opened on January 26, 2021. Winchester Creek Park playground is still under construction with an expected completion around the last week of February. Stephen Lennon Jr. Memorial Park playground is still under construction and completion is expected next week. Friendship Park playground, restroom, and parking lot is still under construction and is expected to complete in late April. And the Sam Hicks Park perimeter fencing project is expected to be awarded in April with construction beginning that same month. Last slide. At this moment, the athletic fields will continue to be booked to travel and club organizations on a practice basis only. All recognized youth leagues have confirmed they will attempt to have a spring season while following current CDC guidelines. Preparations are underway for the Adult Softball League to start back up in March 2021, depending on CDC and health guidelines. And the Rangers have been experiencing challenging times since the beginning of the pandemic with the health concerns and holidays and limited resources. However, they anticipate to be back at full strength by the end of January 2021. Efforts are being made by park rangers on a continual and regular basis to educate the public on CDC guidelines concerning our playgrounds, parks, and facilities. Thank you, everyone. This concludes my portion of the report, and we will be happy to answer any questions or comments that you may have.
Andrew, terrific job. Thank you. Let's start with Commissioner Sizemore.
I'm going to have to think a lot quicker on this commission. I don't have any questions yet. I haven't been able to process it.
Fair enough.
Thank you. I'll be quicker next time.
Okay.
But next time you're going to go in reverse order.
That's right.
I'll have time to think.
You'll be prepared.
I'll be prepared.
All right, very good. Commissioner Adi.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Andrew. I really appreciate the efficiency tonight. Really got through that quickly. I had two questions. One, first of all, on the park rangers on that slide that says, I'm assuming that's injuries and health concerns with the staff. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. It sounds like that's going a little bit better now, but hope everybody is feeling better there. The other one was on the youth on the YAC group. If someone could just please expand a little bit, I'm mostly interested in what they're working on with mental health education and the suicide awareness. I just was hoping you could just get, real quick, what are the details on that? And if you could too, I'm not aware of how many youth are involved in that group right now.
E, do you want to take that?
Sure. The program is capped at about 25 students at a time, and each year they open up the application process. Most kids who start in the program tend to stay with it until they graduate. They have a pretty good retention rate, but each year, graduating kids move out, and so there's space for new kids to come in. Regarding the mental health aspects, basically every month, Cassandra Ambries, who is the coordinator for that position and also our newest full-time conversion. So we're very excited to have her on board as a full-time benefited employee. Focuses on a different aspect of, I would say broadly, like personal wellness. And whether that's related to like, sometimes it's things like financial independence, and she'll do activities and have video classes about things like budgeting or, opening bank accounts, that sort of thing. And at this point, they're focusing on just generally sort of mental health and mental wellness. I think a lot of that focus comes from the increased attention that we've been seeing placed on mental health and mental wellness as a result of COVID. And, a lot of people are talking about the increase in suicide rates, depression, and anxiety, which I think is why YAC chose to focus on that at this time.
Thanks, Erica. That's really helpful. So if I have any more specific questions, just contact Cassandra on that. Is that correct?
Sure, you can shoot them to Yvette or me, and we can get them to Cassandra or to Cassandra directly. That's fine.
Okay, I think it's fantastic that they're focusing on that. And is that a monthly theme, or is it they just kind of take what's kind of in the news that's significant for the time, or is it limited to 1 month?
Typically they shift month to month, but I'm sure if something had a lot of traction, they would evolve with it. They're pretty, I would say, fluid in their curriculum and their programming. And I think also the kids who are involved have a lot of input into where things go. So if the
Okay.
kids are, kind of clamoring for more, that's something that they would focus on more.
Thank you so much, Erica.
Hey, E, real quick, YAC also participated during the holidays with letters, right, to Santa?
That's right. They helped with the letters to Santa, and they've also helped organize drawings to hand out to the seniors who come through our meal pickup services.
Yes. Thanks.
Great questions, Commissioner. Let's move on to Commissioner Krastewski.
Thank you, Andrew, for that presentation. I wanted to just applaud the department and just highlight this statistic that Andrew threw out there, that it was very brief, but it's actually very huge. He mentioned that 2 homeless individuals were reconnected out of state with family members. And that's actually a huge accomplishment. And it shows the level of care that this team has towards this population, because I mean, it's one thing just to give them shelter and food and necessities, but it's a whole different ballgame when you take the extra step to reconnect them to loved ones, make those phone calls, and put in the time and effort to establish that connection with their family members, and then actually have them agree to take them in. So I applaud the department on that. I think it's terrific. Good job.
Thank you for that Commissioner, just real quickly, I don't think it's a secret that the mayor will be introducing her initiative or theme for the year, and actually her theme will be Temecula Cares. And so this is really just a continuation and embodies everything that not only what we do, but I think what comes out of here in the city of Temecula. So thank you for that. And I know Mike and his team, they do a tremendous job. And so we're very proud and pleased.
Great, thanks, Commissioner. And Vice Chair.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Andrew, for your report. Do want to say thank you also to Kevin, Erica, and really the whole team. I love getting updates and the opportunity to hear from other members of the TCSD on these monthly reports. So it's really cool to be able to put a face a little bit to some of the names that we're maybe not as familiar with, and to have them come in and give a great report like you did, Andrew, is just fantastic. So good job on that. Couple of comments I jotted down. Commissioner Adi, thank you for your questions, because I had something similar with the mental health campaign that YAC's working on. Just please pass along my kudos for that. I mean, it's something that's been obviously a hot topic of concern and awareness, you know, especially amongst the students. So to see them kind of taking charge and being able to communicate that out to their peers and have a program centered around that, I think is fantastic. Also great to see employment opportunities popping back up, whether they be seasonal, part-time, or hopefully potentially full-time, but knowing that we've got employment opportunities here at the city is always a good thing to hear. Hope the park rangers are doing okay. Wasn't aware that there is some extra concern, so hopefully they're doing okay. And I just had one question. I know what seems like forever ago, but pre-COVID, there were opportunities to maybe shadow, I don't know if ride along's the right term, but maybe shadow the hot team on some of their some of their camp visits, or just kind of get a little insight to the work that they do, and really what's going on behind the scenes a little bit here in our community. Is that something that is available yet, or again, do we know?
Commissioner Ruiz, I'll jump on that one. We kind of stopped doing a lot of that because of COVID, like you mentioned, just trying to limit the amount of people gathering. However, with that said, if there are times that you'd like to go out, meet us in the field, obviously we would ask that you just meet us at a specific location. We'd be happy to take you out and show you. It's we try to do it a few days a week, at least, as swag and the city staff and hot all together. Swag and hot are out there daily, however. So there's definitely opportunities, and I'd be happy to take you out with the team and kind of see what we see out there.
Okay, I'll probably take you up on that. I know I'd done a couple of things before, but I think any opportunity to really see what we're doing, I still commend our hot team and the relationship with swag and what we're doing to address this issue here in our region. I think we've led the way, the Temecula way, and so the opportunity to go out and see some of that stuff firsthand is always a great opportunity. So I'll probably take you up on that. And again, great report, Andrew. Mr. Chair, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and thank you, Andrew. We have an outstanding team here, and they seem to cover all the little notes that I made. So I have nothing new for you. Appreciate your report. And let's see, do we have Mr. Lawrence reporting next?
Jeff?
Mr. Temecula?
I'm here.
Yeah, I thought Andrew did such a tremendous job. Jeff didn't want to jump in.
No, it was fantastic. All right. Well, good evening, commissioners. I am Jeff Lawrence, Community Services Manager, and I will be giving the Arts and Culture report tonight. So we are going to start off with our local artist for our virtual gallery at home. Deborah Gale Sutt was a recent at our annual Ralph Love Plein Air competition. And it will be the current online virtual gallery artist. So this virtual gallery is all set and put together. So hopefully get a chance to log on and see that. And then also, I did want to mention there was Another cool thing that happened here at the museum was the Temecula Valley Museum's website was mentioned in the 2021 January episode of Inland Empire magazine, which featured the 10 great things to do and highlighted the Ralph Love Plane Air Competition. So a little kudos to Tracy and her team there. I just wanted to add that. And then you can see some of Gail's slides there, and we will move on. All right, community outreach. Well, I saw all of you guys here not too long ago. So before I get started, I want to thank all the commissioners for making time to meet Mike and I at your location and kickstart around and about Temecula in 2021. So the Get to Know Your TCSD Commissioners episode is going to air pretty soon. You guys did fantastic. But I really think it's going to show our community, and let them get to know you, who you are, what you're about. And it's really going to start off the next season here, 2021. So can't wait to see it. And as soon as it goes live, I'll be sure and let you all know. Mike and I are also busy with our Park Adventure series. I actually just saw the finished product for Loma Linda Park, which I did not know until we went out there was actually 3 parks in one. So we found that out when we saw some drone footage. We did not know it. Loma Linda Park is actually 3 different park sites, all with a little walking distance. And then we'll be moving on to John McGee Park, and that will be our next one. We did a few award submittals this month. We are hoping to win the 2021 CPRS Award of Excellence and the 2021 Temecula DigiFest People's Choice Awards. We really highlighted these the community check-in series that Mike and I and the team produced. We thought it kept our public up to date, and so we thought it was worthy. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll bring some trophies home this year for some awards. Moving on to the next slide. Well, that will bring us to our special events. And I know it's a little bummer of some news, but it's okay. We're going to be fine. Rod Run has been postponed to November 5th and 6th in hopes of having a full event with a Friday cruise night and Saturday show and shine. So more to come on that information. On January 26th, we had the Sam Hicks Playground reopening video. I'll talk a little bit more about the reopening itself, but thanks for all of those that attended. And February 2021 events preview, we have the Valentine's Craft video put on by none other than our Tracy Court. So she'll let you know all about that design and create a dog or cat craft. And then one more thing on special events that wasn't posted, but I thought needed a little bit of attention was Get Egged. So this was the special events team, Dawn and her crew, come up with another fantastic event with Get Egged, where all you have to do is go online, register, and we are going to bring Easter eggs to you. It opened up in just a few short hours, sold out of over 350 people. And with another 200 on the waiting list, which they're trying to get take care of some duplicates. So that wasn't mentioned, but it was a big event, and super excited for them for that one. So that's our special events. And we will move on to Temecula Theater. The Old Town Temecula Community Theater gracefully embraced the new year with hope for a bright new future in arts and culture. So the Temecula Theater social media pages, we miss seeing everybody, and they really can't wait to get them all back at Temecula stage in the future. Some things they've been up to while it's we've all been here virtually is they've caught up on a youth musical theater alumni. So a few of those artists got together and were on YouTube. And they shared memories of past performances, kind of what they're doing now, and also paid some heartwarming tributes to our longtime class instructor who passed away, Brooke Morris. So good things going on there. That will bring us to our next one. Moving on to the Merc. So with the Merc, we've got our shared virtual performances and contact from some resident alumni. You probably heard of them. Country Live at the Merc favorite, the Brewer Boys. So you got Justin and Nathan gave us a sneak peek at some of their new music. And these local treasures have been performing in the Merc since they were just some young kids. So they've been around and they're fantastic. Hopefully you get a chance to see them. Moving on to our next slide. All right. Which brings us to our virtual celebration of Black history. So this is working with Temecula Valley Museum as well as our theater. And so we've really got 3 amazing virtual events scheduled for you in February. The first is the Temecula Valley website, which will be doing the Through Darkness to Light photographs along the Underground Railroad. So make it a point to log on to their website to check that out. We'll have a virtual classical music concert with Anita Graff, and then also a virtual musical presentation of Bayard. So some great stuff. Charisse and Tracy Frick put together a really good portfolio of some great things for Black History Month. So that will do that. And let's see, we will move on to our next slide. And we've got the Temecula Valley Museum. So Temecula Valley Museum, we will start off with their very favorite program that they're doing, that second Saturday at home, where they're going to celebrate Costa Rica in February. So you'll see Bigfoot graphics on Saturday the 13th. 11 a.m. He'll be giving his free art lesson as always. Educational activities have been uploaded. Guests can enjoy learning about Pura Vida, spirit of the life that unites the people of Costa Rica. So make it a point to check out that at the Temecula Valley Museum. And we also have the Black History Month information that I talked about a little bit. So you'll have their links to the arts and culture, food and art. We've got the Darkness to Light along the Underground Railroad. And there's also a recorded presentation from Professor of African American Studies, Dr. Morgan Hudenpile. So be sure to check that out also. And wow, here we go with Sam Hicks Monument Park. So if you look at a few of these pictures, I see some older people on those things, but look at, they are young at heart, playing in that new playground at Sam Hicks. So thank you for attending that. That was probably some of the most exciting news. It's been long awaited, and it was officially unveiled on Tuesday, January 26th. A special thank you to Commissioner Sizemore for getting out there and taking part in that, that grand opening again. So that is another fantastic little event, and I'm sure that park is going to be well used for people enjoying Old Town. That's all I've got today for the Arts and Culture report, so I would be happy to answer any questions and take any comments.
Thanks, Jeff. Superior report, and I guess we will start it off with Vice Chair first.
Thank you for that. Jeff, as always, your energy is infectious. It's like we're listening to Temecula's own Ryan Seacrest here giving us a report. So I appreciate everything you got going on there. Love this picture here. Kevin's got the weight of the world on his back, and he's holding it up real strong. So well done there. Just a couple of comments. I'm glad you brought up the Get Egged event. I actually had that saved in my notes for comments later, but number one, to have an idea like that just kind of pop up out of nowhere is reflective, I think, of our team. But to see how quickly word got out and how quickly that it, sold out, if you will. I mean, I know my social media feed, about it, people were just elated and excited and so appreciative that we're still able to do something like that. So once again, great job to the team on that. Really enjoyed my time with you shooting the video. Look forward to seeing the entire production there and hearing a little bit more about my fellow commissioners, both here and on the other commissions as well. Just one quick question for you. With the Rod Run being postponed to later in the year, I know when we had to postpone it last year, we did do kind of an unofficial cruise type of a deal. It didn't go through Old Town. There was nothing super formal, but it was just a night where everyone drove down a certain path. Are we looking to do something like that at all in the spring, or just kind of hold off on everything for the event until November?
I'll
Go
jump in,
ahead.
Jeff.
Mhm.
I think a lot of that is to be determined. I know, as you pointed out, last year we had to make some adjustments. I think what the special events team is trying to do is just get a feel what we're allowed to do just in terms of gatherings and things like that. But you remember Rod Run originally was a March event, right? A spring event.
Yeah.
And then we ran into, kind of like 2 years of rain, if you will, right? So then we moved it to May, and the weather was going to be perfect, and it was sold out in record time, and then COVID. And so in order to do something, we kind of had that Indian summer cruise night, if you will. And so, I mean, what we're doing is, and what a lot of cities are doing, quite honestly, talking to some of my colleagues, we're just backloading a lot of events, right? With vaccinations going on, we're just trying to push things out, and just really kind of the approach that we took last year was we were thinking at the end of the year we'll be able to hold all of these events, and it didn't quite work out that way. So we're trying again. So Ride Run being the signature event, we said, let's push this out. And then if we're able to do other things, we will. And then just in terms of a route, we'll take a look at what we're able to do just in terms of Old Town, or if we need to make any adjustments. But we want to have something that resembles our traditional events. So that's really the goal.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. And thanks again, Mr. Chair. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. And we'll move on to Commissioner Adi.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, on the a roundabout, thanks so much for all you do. It was great to get to do one with you again, and just see how great you guys are getting at those. I mean, it was just so efficient, and just easy for me anyway to be a part of that. And I appreciate what you did with that. I only had two real quick questions. One is on youth theater. I heard they were working on something currently, and I also heard they're hopeful that they might be able to get to do an outdoor show this summer, so away from virtual. Is that correct?
I can answer the upcoming James and the Giant Peach, the student-led internship program. That one is going to film inside of the theater privately for a DVD for the cast to be able to perform it, because the outdoor wasn't gonna. We were originally planning on just doing James and the Giant Peach out at the CRC amphitheater, but that type of production needs the lighting and the staging and all of that. So our staff, our team, our crew is committed to putting on a production for a live capture. Now there will not be tickets sold. There will be no audience. I think the few people that would be there is, I'm planning to go attend to support. It's being filmed on a Sunday, February 28th. So, we're kind of limiting it, not advertising it. So it's a private, but if any of the commissioners, if you would like to be there, I'm sure we could put you in the balcony or something. So it's not that you can't come. We're just trying to limit it for health and safety and so forth. So there may be a couple of the parents there, but it's not going to be a public show. With regard to having something in the summer, that is the goal, is to eventually to try to come back a little at a time. I think outdoor will come back before indoor, obviously. The other youth music theater program that is being discussed to be filmed inside the theater is The Wizard of Oz, which is the City of Temecula Youth Musical Theater production. The timing on that is usually in June, so that would be the summer production. As much that we can do outside and once again bring an audience, it all depends on the state, county, and local health ordinances, as well as direction from our city manager. So nothing public, but some private filmings are going on currently.
Thank you so much. Great. That's good. We're, praying that they can stick to that goal. Thanks again for sticking to the Black History Month and doing some great things. Can't wait to see those concerts. And I just had a quick question on the Darkness to Light. So that's on the museum page, is that correct? Or I can just go on
Yes,
and that link? Okay.
yeah, Shauna photographed the entire exhibit after Tracy and Michelle installed it. So once again, if you want to see it in person, we can definitely arrange a tour and a time for you because staff is at the museum. But a lot of the photos and the vignettes, the plaques on the wall are online currently, and it is profound. I'm sure in person it's even better. The pictures are very dark because they're taken at night. They're taken along the route. There's not signage, that's like Underground Railroad this way. It's like trees and bushes and riverbanks that were described that you would know you were there once you were there. So a lot of the information cards are just so profound, so moving. So my preference is always to see something in person, but if you can't be there physically, take a virtual stroll down the museum's site, and it's an amazing, just powerful exhibit with Tracy's vision of Tracy Frick picked this 5 years ago, so it was in the plan. It was, and we're sad that it can't be available for the public, but instead of just turning the crates away and saying, oh, nobody's coming, so, send it back and have to eat the cost, we wanted to bring it to people virtually.
Wow. Yeah, I was just going to go online and see it, and now you did a great marketing job. I think I'll sign up to go in person. Thank you.
Yeah, we can arrange that with you, definitely. Just email Tracy or myself, and we'll be happy to give you a tour.
Thank you so much. I'm going to do it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Commissioner Adi. Commissioner Krzyzewski.
Thank you, Jeff, for that presentation. Yeah, like Vice Chair Ruiz said about the get egged Easter eggs, my wife was probably one of the first people to sign up, so we're excited about that. And then I'm really excited to see the exhibit about the Underground Railroad. No other questions besides that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Commissioner Sizemore.
I'm ready this time, Eric. My questions. Thank you for your presentation, Jeff. I wanted to understand more. How often is the Around and About series done? Do you have a regular schedule?
We try, yeah. When all things are working out, and pre-COVID, it was once a month. But with everything shutting down, sometimes we're unable to film, or things change so rapidly that it's hard to tell. But our goal is to go back to monthly now and try to get an episode monthly. If we don't, we will often do little shorter little videos and stuff and put on social media to help promote things and let the public know what's going on and what's out there for them. So, but yeah, hopefully we'll be back to our monthly schedule.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing your episodes about the Loma Linda Park and John Maggie Park. I've been to a lot of parks, but I've never been to those two. So I'm going to make it a point here in the next week to find Loma Linda Park and go check that out. It sounds very interesting. Let's see. I wanted to mention on Rod Run, I'm happy to see that we've postponed it and we still have a chance that we can have it. Having been here for a while, I do remember when it was in February, but then it would rain. And then it was moved to March, but then it would rain. And then it was even, I think, moved out to April or May and it rained one of those times. So my big question is it going to rain in November? I think there's a chance because Rod Run. Sam Hicks Park is, it's such a great park. It was a much needed redesign for that space. I went out there last week in the afternoon at like 4 p.m. and it was so great to see it filled with families and children playing there. And then I went back on Saturday during during a farmer's market. We walked by there and there were kids playing out there. So it's great to see that space reclaimed. Just kind of redefining that space as a part of the museum. It'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. And, once again, you guys have checked all those boxes that I was going to ask questions about. So just a couple quick comments. Bea, I'll contact Tracy, but I'm definitely in for the in-person tour of Through Darkness to Light. That sounds fantastic, and I agree with Commissioner Adi. Great sales job there. Looking forward to that. And like Commissioner Kristevsky, my wife was also excited about Get Egged, but she vacillated too long and didn't sign up in time. And I also just told her, well, we're probably not eligible anyway. But but she was excited, and how fantastic is it that I think it was 350 families?
300.
300?
300 with 200 on the waiting list.
Oh my gosh. So once again, phenomenal efforts. The city of Temecula Community Services hits a home run, once again. And I think just to wrap up comments from me is just a personal thank you to Jeff, you and Mike for your patience and your understanding and helping me feel good about talking about me. It's like the strangest thing in the world for me. But appreciate it. You guys make it look easy, and thank you very much. All right. I think that rounds out our division report. So let's move on to the consent calendar. We do have one item tonight, so I'll go ahead and read the required verbiage. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine, and all will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of the Community Services Commission request specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. The one item for tonight is to approve the action minutes of January 11th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
And second?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who was the second.
That was the second. Yeah.
Oh, Gary, okay. Okay, there's a motion to approve with the first by Commissioner Ruiz and the second by Commissioner Adi. I think I forgot how to do this.
Just a roll call.
Yeah.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Sizemore?
Approve.
Kristevsky?
Aye.
Adi?
Aye.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Levine?
Aye.
And that passes 5-0. Thank you. I'm a little rusty.
All good. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
The understudy, I liked your analogy earlier. Very nice. All right, so on to our business items. We have 2 items this evening. And the first of those is the election of the chair and vice chair. The recommendation is to have nominations and then perform the elections for the calendar year 2021. And before we get to that, I have a clarification question. I'll leave it probably to Director Hawkins, but I noted that it said calendar year 2021. So is the idea that this will run to December, and then in December we'll have new elections for 2022?
That is consistent with the other commissions. However, we are not very consistent with the other commissions. So for language, it's clear as mud, right? So for language sake, yes, for calendar. But I wanted to point out that unlike other commissions, we do not hold selections or elections for chair and vice chair at the first meeting. It's something that it's kind of been a norm, I guess, associated with the Community Services Commission, because we typically have new members at the first meeting. And out of courtesy, we would like to have the members at least have one meeting under their belt before they participate in the selection of a chair and vice chair. So that's something that we've done. So again, we go into the calendar, but it typically will run a couple of months over. But I just wanted to provide that clarification. How was
I
that?
appreciate that. No, I appreciate that. All right. And with that, I will entertain nominations for, I guess we'll start with chair and then move on to vice chair.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would like to nominate you to continue on as chair for this year. Couple of reasons. I think number one, you do a fantastic job representing us and fulfilling the responsibilities of chair, number one. Number two, and this wouldn't be the only place that this has happened on the other boards I serve throughout the community, but 2020 didn't really get to be lived out the way we intended it to. And I think that would include some of the opportunities that go along with the chair role as well. So I would nominate you to continue on as chair for 2021.
Well, thank you. So, Director, remind me, do we put that forth as a motion and then get votes, or do we entertain other?
Yeah, there's a motion on the table, and it's just
Okay.
at this point lacking a second. If there's a second, or
I'll second
if there's
that.
any, I was going to say, or if there's any additional discussion, but if there's a motion and there's a second, and you can keep it open. If there's any further discussion, absent that, then take the vote. So there's a motion by Vice Chair Ruiz, and there's a second by Commissioner Adi. Any pending discussion?
I seconded it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris, I'm sorry. I'm just fixated, I think, on Maya, and I keep looking over it. I'm so sorry, Chris.
So is there any further discussion before I take a vote? Okay, so there's a motion on the table to nominate as chair, a continuation by Chairman Levine. It was nominated by Vice Chair Ruiz and seconded by Commissioner Kristevsky. I'll take the roll vote. Commissioner Sizemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Kristevsky?
Aye.
Commissioner Adi?
Aye.
Vice Chair Ruiz?
Aye.
And Chair Levine?
Aye.
Okay, vote passes unanimously 5-0, and congratulations, Chair.
Thank you. And I apologize for disrupting the, I was caught a little off guard with that, and I just wanted to make sure that we were proceeding, as per standard. And so we will move on. For Vice Chair, do we have nominations?
I would have a nomination. As the way Commissioner Ruiz put that last nomination for you, Chair Levine, which again, thank you so much for all you've done on this very difficult year. And also the Vice Chair Ruiz, really coming through for us on very different times. But with this nomination, we can keep some continuity and let you guys have a little more normalcy this year. I would like to nominate Vice Chair Ruiz.
I'll second that. Is that appropriate? Can I do that? I'm looking at Kevin.
Yes, yeah, I didn't know if Chris beat you to it, Mr. Cassessi, or if that was Chair Levine, but I thought I heard both of you. But yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So barring
That's my
any
full
further
vote.
discussion, there's a nomination on the table for vice chair nomination by Commissioner Audi to continue with Adam Ruiz as vice chair for 2021, and seconded by Chair Levine. May I have the votes by Commissioner Sizemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Krastevsky?
Aye.
Commissioner Audi?
Aye.
Vice Chair Ruiz?
Aye.
Chair Levine?
Aye.
Very good. That passes 5-0 unanimously, and congratulations, Vice Chair Ruiz.
Thank you. And Commissioner Adi, thank you for the kind words, and look forward to continuing to serve on this team. All titles aside, it's one of the things I truly do enjoy. I say that half-hearted, half jokingly, but this really is a team effort, and I enjoy working with you guys. So I appreciate the kind words and look forward to continuing to serve.
Yeah, same here. I'm flattered. This team, really is hitting at full strength. And especially during the pandemic. And I see these little updates here and there. And Commissioner Roddy's here, and Sizemore's opening the park, and Adam's out there, and Chris. It's fantastic to see. And I'm humbled and motivated, and hoping like heck we can get back to normal, to some of this normalcy. But I very much am humbled by the nomination tonight. Thank you. And with that, I guess we should move on to our next item of business, which is reviewing the subcommittee assignments. And I know in the past, and go ahead.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, please.
I think
we're heading the same place.
I think we're heading the same place, and Chair, feel free to jump in here. Just a point of clarification that I think the way that the item is written, that this is an appointment. I don't have it right in front of me, but it is an appointment for subcommittees, that council subcommittees, and that is not the case. Just a little background, that the subcommittees as relates to the community services commissions are kind of a relic or a leftover from past commissions. Over the years, it's actually caused a bit of confusion as to the roles of the commission, as well as relates to the CS Commission versus the council subcommittees. In 2019, and I know we have an account of that, but in 2019, there were a number of subcommittees, probably at least 5, maybe more. However, and it ranged from human services to various topics. However, we thought that was excessive, and we recommended scaling them back. to take a look moving forward, whether or not to continue with the subcommittees. And so there is a sports council, as you know, and then there are also a couple subcommittees that reflect like human services and arts and culture that may mirror subcommittees that this department kind of is the lead on as relates to the council subcommittees. And so it was a way of kind of continuing with the subcommittees, but not phasing all the way out. Well, as we talked about the impacts of 2020, there were no subcommittee appointments in 2020, and we did not miss a beat. And so also I think the term team was used a lot too. And what we have found is that if there is a commission interest or a discussion, either as Vice Chair Ruiz brought up, he was interested in a couple sports issues and clarification with a commitment to either discuss, bring back as a commission report or business, or discuss offline directly with staff. We have found that to be very helpful and beneficial. So a long way of just giving you some history that absent anything else, we believe that subcommittees would be unique to this commission and are not necessarily necessary and needed. But if there's a decision to continue those, we would recommend keeping them at the scaled down 2019 levels versus the 6 or 7 or whatever that we had. But the main appointment would be for the sports council, and then everything else this body participates in as necessary with staff or the council. Not sure if that's everything you were going to say, but
it honestly was, and I appreciate the full background there, Director Hawkins. And as I was reflecting on it myself, I was pouring through my notes and realized, hey, we didn't make any assignments in 2020. And to be perfectly honest, and now that I'm embarrassingly the longest termed, commissioner on this commission, having served just over 5 years, it's only been the sports council that's ever met. Now there have been opportunities to provide input on things like the community services master plan, on arts and culture, and we do that every month, just by our participation. We attend an event, we ask questions, we get clarification, and sometimes there are new ideas, that come right from this body. So I completely agree. I think apart from sports council, there hasn't really been a need in these last 5 years, in my experience, for these other groups. And I think if there are, we'll get the gang together and we'll figure out who should represent. So with that, Director Hawkins, do we want to look at sports council again for this term, or?
Yes, that's appropriate. Just in terms of sports council appointments, and then acting on that, the balance, if we're talking about just elimination of the rest. And Erica or Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, or even Bea, now, just the way that the item is written, is there a staff recommendation as relates to this item specifically?
No, there's no staff recommendation, just a review.
Yeah.
So I know that I have served on sports council in the past, and it was a great introduction to working with some of the folks on that team. It's how I got to know Mike Wooten pretty well. So just curious if there's other interest out there or other thoughts. Commissioner Adi, I think you were gonna comment.
No, I was just, there was a lull, and I've just I'll comment real quick that I didn't realize we didn't have appointments in 2020, and just kept doing the doing what I was doing. But I agree with everything you've all said. That's a great model to use. Yeah, I don't know how, I remember the last time, because we were in person, kind of more of a casual conversation. And I know we talked about some issues with the sports council trying to eliminate, conflict of interest and things like that. But I guess I'll throw out there, I'm very, very willing to stay on that. And I know that, James has his model. I'm familiar with it. We've been doing most of everything, not even on Zoom. We've been doing it via email right now, but things could pick up here in the springtime. So very willing to stay on for the continuity, but open to any other interests.
That was really going to be my only comment was, I was pretty sure it was you, Commissioner Adi, that was serving there. And if you're willing to continue to serve, I would have, I don't know if we're looking for a formal nomination or motion or recommendation here, but if you're willing to continue doing that, I don't see any reason to make a change.
So just in order to kind of just codify this a little bit, if we can, if there's going to be a motion and then possibly a second, absent any discussion, could we make the motion in this sense, a motion to appoint Commissioner Adi for the Sports Council and to eliminate any additional CS Commission subcommittees?
I will make that motion.
And if there's concurrence, and then we'll go ahead.
If you can take that, or if you want me to do my best to reword it.
Go for it.
I would make that exact motion as stated by Director Hawkins.
I would second it.
Absent any further discussion? There's a motion on the table for Gary Adi to continue in his role as in subcommittee assigned to Sports Council and eliminating any further appointments by Commissioner Ruiz, seconded by Commissioner Sizemore. If I can take a vote. Commissioner Sizemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Krastevsky?
Aye.
Commissioner Adi?
So how do I do that? Do I just straight up aye, or
Straight up aye.
we split it up? Okay, aye.
Straight
Aye.
up aye.
Vice Chair Ruiz?
Aye.
And Chair Levine?
Aye.
Okay, that's another unanimous approval. And the vote passes. Thank you, and congratulations, Commissioner Adi.
Excellent. So thank you all for that, and congratulations, Commissioner Adi. Let's move on to director reports. Anything new?
Wow.
Director Hawkins?
Congratulations all. I think a lot has been covered. I did have some comments and want to kind of organize my thoughts. I was sharing with Commissioner Adi. I was having a conversation. Well, first of all, normally I say if there are any items of interest on the upcoming city council meeting, nothing specifically coming out from just the department, but as you all know, that there's going to be the joint meeting between the commission and the council, and you'll be doing your presentation. And so we're looking forward to that because, we're definitely biased, but it's always the best. We've also noticed how in the past we would always go last, and then there were complaints that we were, saving the best for last. And so now this year we're first. And so we'll just set the bar. It'll be unattainable, but I'm just biased like that. And so that's as it relates to the upcoming council. But earlier I was sharing with Commissioner Adi that looking at his background of Maya Angelou, and I was having a conversation with someone about about Maya Angelou, and in that quote in particular, that is just inspiring. And if you don't mind, Commissioner Adi, I have it. I was going to read it, but can you read the quote if you don't mind?
Absolutely. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
And it is so profound, and it's so true as we're in this paper society or credentialed society or this or that, and everyone's looking for growth opportunities or whatnot. But it always boils down to the human element, and how did you make that person feel, and how did you treat someone? And we talk about it in terms of management practices and leaders, but I think it just captures community services, right? And it's it's like that little league coach or that favorite teacher, right? You just remember that person because of how they made you feel and that impact that they had on your lives. And so the other thing that I was as we were talking about Black history, and I wanted to just cover a couple of things, but with Maya Angelou, is that I didn't know that she was actually shares her birthday with my mom. And so that's how the topic came up. Her birthday is April 4th, and that's my mom's birthday too. And what I didn't know is that, she was actually very close to Dr. King. And actually in 1968, Maya Angelou was preparing to, join forces with Dr. King. It was during his Poor People's Campaign, and but she was going to join him in Montgomery, right? And so before she did, I think she was coming up on her birthday. I think it was her 40th birthday. And she decided to sidetrack and have a birthday party. And as she was preparing for her birthday party, she got news that Dr. King had been assassinated. And it affected her so much that for years, she didn't celebrate her birthday. And I remember kind of that same kind of conversation with my mom, who, after Dr. King's assassination, did not want to celebrate her birthday either. Now, what got her through a lot, obviously, was writing. And a year afterwards, she actually published her memoirs. And what came out of it was probably her most profound piece of work, which is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And so all of this I was talking about and just sharing just in terms of, history, and then separate and independently and randomly to have Commissioner Adi have that up there brings it home. And I appreciate this body expressing so much interest, as well as the team here talking about Black History Month for a couple of reasons. Not only just because I'm, American African descent, but, there was a time here where these conversations did not occur. And so I know this group knows it or whatnot, but just a couple of things, because we talk about American Black history, but so it, Black History Month, as you know, was developed by an African-American educator. That's Dr. Carter G. Woodson, right? And he was actually the second Black American to receive a PhD from Harvard. And, in most of the curriculum, he discovered that, Black history was oftentimes, erased or edited, or as I call it, and you've heard me refer to it as a redacted version of American history. And like all Americans, he believed that Blacks should be proud of their history, but that history was not the mere gathering of facts, but that the object of historical study was to arrive at a reasonable interpretation of the facts. And I just found that to be just so profound. So what we celebrate now originally started off as Negro History Week in 1926. And it was designated for the second week in February to coincide with the marking of the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And it was eventually expanded to Black History Month, and in 1976 was made an official federal designation by President Ford. But the thing that I always want to focus on and leave you with is that, you know, what's most relevant, and I just encourage all to remember, is that Dr. Woodson, just in his wisdom and just being so profound, he often said that he hoped the time would come when Negro History Week, and for me vis-a-vis Black History Month, would be unnecessary, when all Americans would willingly recognize the contributions of Black Americans as a legitimate and integral part of the history of this great country. So we've made progress, but there's still a ways to go. And at some point, you know, maybe not my kids' lifetime, or, you know, maybe in their kids, but when we just talk about history, it's American history, and we won't have to have something like a Black history. So that concludes my report, and I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Director Hawkins. And really appreciate your insight, your words. And I think, you know, when it comes time to adjourn this evening, I think it would be appropriate. I'd like to adjourn in the memory of Carter Woodson.
Okay.
But hold that thought. Commissioner reports, we'll have to go there first. So let's start with Mrs. Sizemore, Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Chair Levine. Like I said earlier, I've been really pleased seeing the Sam Hicks Park. I'm looking forward to seeing the fences installed around it and seeing how the Temecula Museum uses that space for their future programs, and how that space all works out together. I had one question I wanted to bring up. I'm glad to see that the Junior Women's STEM program is happening this year, albeit virtually. I'm glad that it's back this year. I'm not sure that that's a part of TCSD that sponsors it. I believe it is extremely important to encourage young ladies and to provide them opportunities to discover and pursue STEM fields. In the future, however, I'd really like to see and encourage the city to pursue sponsoring some STEM events that are open to all youth, both boys and girls. There's a lot of outreach to girls, rightfully so, to encourage them to pursue STEM fields. But as a mom of one daughter and two sons, I really had a hard time finding STEM activities that were outreach towards boys. So I'd like to encourage the pursuit of that for the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner, and I appreciate your contributions toward the STEM efforts in the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Adi.
Thank you, Chair Levine. Appreciate what you presented there, Commissioner Sizemore, on STEM also. Thanks for promoting that in many different ways. Thank you so much. I had a kind of a cycling focused month. I kicked it off with a meeting with Mike and Tracy and Stacy from Public Works, and with an idea that I had about using our Adopt-A-Park for segments of mostly of the Temecula Loop Trail, and looking at parts of that trail that we could just, by using adoptions and other means to make some improvements on those trails as kind of a model. If we were just to focus on one segment, to just turn it into a model of what the trail should look like. So we talked about, things like planting shade trees, native plants, doing some model gardens like we have in some of our parks that are just absolutely amazing. And digital information stations along the trail, trailheads and so on. That was a productive meeting, though I learned a lot. And we did start off with what we call the Ale Trail over on Diaz, and got the news that really the city doesn't own anything on the creek side of that trail, so it's all back to working with the county again. And so I'm going to pursue that as we go down the road. But I thought that was real interesting. I was able to also have a bike tour given by council member Schwank, who's very in tune with the trails in our city. And he took us on a bike tour with a variety of bike riders, that would represent our cycling community, and gave us a tour of what will someday be the Temecula Loop Trail. So a very, very interesting day that day. And then finally, I had a Marietta Creek Regional Trail meeting, which I coordinate with the 4 cities, Elsinore, Wildemar, Marietta, and Temecula, and Sarah Toma was there with me. And we were able to do some bragging about Summers Bend and the construction of the trails there, which I did go over and ride a couple of times. And if you get a chance to go over and see them, I think I mentioned it at our last meeting, but it's very well done. Some great ideas. And so Sarah and I were able to brag about that, and also talk a little bit about the undercrossings, the Margarita and the I-15 underpass, and how that will, give us the ability to pretty soon here ride all the way from Old Town or all the way from Summers Bend to Old Town and vice versa, with that Nicholas Road connection off the Santa Gertrudis Trail. So really, really a good productive bike month for me. And hope to get back to some culture this month. So thanks again, Kevin. Thanks again for your team and all the great things you're doing through these tough times. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Commissioner. You rock. That was a pretty full month there, and appreciate all that you're doing out there in support of our trails. Commissioner Krastevsky.
I have nothing to report.
It's hard to top that, I know. It's like,
I went on a ride with Commissioner Adi once, and it was awesome. So I want to do that again. I'm sorry I missed out on the ride with Councilmember Schwank.
I hope to include all of you on some of these adventures soon. And I did have a really nice ride with you, Chris, and love to do it again.
I'm gonna hold you to it. When you and Dale were talking about riding, and I went and got my bike all cleaned up and had the bike shop look at it, and I think the tires are flat again in the garage. The Peloton is getting a lot of work, but the real bike is not. All right, Vice Chair.
Thank you. A group ride definitely does sound fun. A little intimidating to think of pedaling from Summers Bend to Old Town, and I know the shape that Councilmember Schwank and Commissioner Adi, and although some of you guys I think cheat a little bit with an e-bike, but we'll call it what it is. But pedaling would be fun. I just we'll have to maybe baby step into that. Actually, most of my notes we were able to discuss through the various reports. A couple of thank yous. I do want to thank Director Hawkins just for your continued leadership, number one. And number two, and we've said this before, but it really does help me personally to get the daily emails from you and from the other departments, especially right now, the recaps from the local leaders calls and getting that information. It's something I look forward to every night, just kind of being able to recap and have that idea of what's going on. Knowledge is power, of course, and I can always count on that email to give me the information that I know is believable versus trying to read it and decipher it from somebody else. So thank you very much for continuing to do that. I also want to thank Erica, and I didn't see James or Sergio on the call, but if they listen back, in fact, Director Hawkins, you mentioned some of the questions and concerns that I brought up. It's last year already. I mean, time seems to kind of fly and all that, but we were able to meet, and I appreciate the time because it went a little longer than I think probably we all anticipated. But it was a great discussion. A lot of questions that have been asked of me were answered. We kind of dove into some things, understood how things may have been interpreted or misinterpreted sometimes. And I think at the end of the day, at least for me personally, that solutions were there. It wasn't the problem as it was being presented. I think a lot of it was just in getting a better understanding and explanation and perception really on some of the concerns that were brought forward to me. So I really appreciate that opportunity and the time that they spent with me. And with that, thank you to my colleagues again for entrusting me to serve as your vice chair. And I was truly serious. Chair Levine, you've done a fantastic job, and I really do appreciate everything that you do. And this really is a team, you know, for me, especially as a small business owner. You know, this is my crew that I get to work with and be a part of, and I really do appreciate it. So with that, I will end my comments and say thanks once again.
Well, thank you, Vice Chair. And yeah, for myself, you know, I think you all make this very, very easy. And in the most difficult of years, you know, the spirit and the enthusiasm that runs through this team, from the commissioners to all of you on this call who are actually making it happen. You know, Andrew, Erica, Mike, Jeff, Bea. You know, you guys are hitting it out of the park, and again, Adam, you hit it. You know, Kevin's leadership, you know, once again, and it's never surprising, but it's always a profound experience, you know, for me, just spending the few minutes or a few texts back and forth or whatever. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you very much. So with that, I will move to adjourn. I'd like to, I really, you know, was struck by what you said about Dr. Woodson, and I'd like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of Dr. Carter Woodson. And we will be adjourning to the next meeting of the Community Services Commission to be held on March 8th, 2021. Hopefully in the council chambers, we'll see. We are adjourned. Do we need to vote on that? We do need to vote on that.
We need to
Move to adjourn.
See, I was all excited.
Move to adjourn in the memory of Dr. Woodson.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn by Gary Adi, seconded by Ruiz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are approved at 7:24 p.m.
We are adjourned. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.